My name is Luke Senior, and I'm standing for the UK Independence Party.
Okay, so first, can you tell me about one policy that students watching this will like?
In terms of our policy,
Yeah.
I think what in terms of our policy in respect to students, what we would say is that we need to bring back a proper education system that works for people. So, talking about technical colleges and making sure that those people aren't necessarily skilled academically have a platform for them to achieve their maximum potential, as well as those that attend university.
Yeah. Does it sound alright, by the way? Okay. So I was looking through the manifesto earlier, and there's some kind of things that I'd not heard before that, and there's pretty uncontroversial things like removing parking charges at hospitals and stuff.
Yes.
That people don't tend to hear about.
Yes.
So can you tell me a bit more about those?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of your specific point about scrapping the parking charges at hospitals, it's something that's obviously very, very unfair. If you're in a position where you're looking to visit a sick relative for 2 or 3 hours on an afternoon or evening, should you have to pay for the privilege of being able to do so? We think that's wrong, and what we would propose is that the money needed to scrap that can be recouped in the areas that we've identified within our manifesto.
Another UKIP manifesto policy that I wondered what you think about is the idea of waiving the tuition fee for students studying engineering, science, tech, maths.
Yeah.
But I wondered what you think about it, considering you went to Leeds Met and did a quantity surveying degree and graduated in 2008.
Yes.
Would you have found that fair if some of your friends were not paying anything and you were?
I suppose the honest answer to that is that my employer actually paid for my tuition fees. The way that my contract worked with my employer is that they put me through Leeds College of Building between 2003 and 2005, and then I went on to attend Leeds Metropolitan University, now Leeds Beckett, 1 day a week. So in terms of my experience at university compared to your typical student, for want of a better phrase, I left university relatively debt-free, whereas obviously the challenges that face students who study full-time is completely different.
Yeah. So a lot of the students at Leeds University are international students, thousands of them.
Yes.
And you propose that they pay medical insurance, even though they already pay a health surcharge. And what other policies would you say to international students?
International students, what we would propose is that students from EU countries are treated the same as students from non-EU countries.
But don't you want to leave the EU?
Pardon?
But don't you want to leave the EU?
We do want to leave the EU, yes. What we would say is that the EU students pay the same as international students from outside the European Union to provide a level playing field, and that would also provide the additional funding necessary to improve the standard of the accommodation and the courses available at the university to service all the students.
Another thing that stuck out to me was that can you explain your stance on energy?
Yes. What we would propose is a diverse sort of range of energy sources. We would look into the possibility of clean coal and also nuclear as well. And in terms of renewables, what we would say is yes, absolutely, but it's got to be done on a basis that's cost effective, rather than in a situation where householders are having to pay enough money as it is for their energy bills without having to pay significantly more when there's already a choice between heating and eating.
But is there really such a thing as clean coal?
What we would look at is carbon capture and storage. That's already online in Germany, and there's no reason why that can't be replicated here.
But what about economically when coal, for example, runs out?
Yeah. Well, as you pointed out, coal is a fossil fuel source, and it isn't going to last forever. What we would say is look at investigating possibilities of where coal can be mined in a cost-effective way, rather than in mines that are being closed down because they're no longer viable to mine those. But what we would say is that there is a significant amount of coal down there, and there's no reason why, as an indigenous energy source, that we shouldn't look to exploit it.
And what would you say to students that are going to graduate and they're going to be looking for jobs?
Yeah.
How are you going to help them?
I take the point, it is very, very difficult for young people these days to find jobs. There are 1 million young people below the age of 25 currently unemployed, and that's a situation that can't be allowed to continue. What we would, as I pointed out during the debate, we need to look at ways of creating jobs in a sustainable way. House building is one of those, but not everybody works in an industry, either sort of hands-on or in an administrative role that is conducive to house building, so other options need to be looked at.
You said earlier when you was on the panel that you've been trying to stay away from the issue of immigration, which is
Yes.
what a lot of people will know you for primarily. Why would you want to stay away from a core issue?
Because I think what people want to learn and find out is other policies that we offer. People, they know the stance on the European Union, which we're obviously looking to leave, and the immigration policy that's outlined in the manifesto. Many people are aware of that, but what they aren't aware of is the other policies that we have, and it's up to people like me to make sure that those are sort of in the public domain, really.
But how would you ensure that if we left the EU, we would still have free trade with the European Union, which is our main trade partner?
Yes, what we would say is that we buy far more from them than what they buy from us. And there is provisions in the Lisbon Treaty for a free trade agreement for a country that's looking to leave the EU, so we're not concerned in that respect.
Fair enough. Finally, can you just summarise succinctly why people should vote for you?
In terms of why people should vote for us, what we intend to do is put Britain and the British people first. What we believe is that the other parties that have been in government in the last 20 years or more have presided over a downward shift in living standards, an upward shift in unemployment, and we don't feel that the governments of the last few years have actually acted in the best interest of Britain and its people, and that's something that we would look to do.
All right, Luke, thank you very much.
No problem.